Well, I thought I had solved the horizontal vertical problem, but I guess not. So that's all right. Let's see if I can get this straightened up a little bit. Welcome to the live. I have um, a couple of things in the live that are not going to happen that I had planned on happening. So my co-host is not here. He got called out of town on work for on very short notice. So he's gone. Richard said that he might fill in as a temporary co-host tonight. So he's running late, and we'll see how it goes when he gets here. And a couple of the things that I had scheduled for tonight aren't going to happen. So I'm a little disappointed that but the live, I believe you're going to enjoy it. Of course, you guys are going to be the judge of whether or not it is a good live, and you can just let me know, and you won't even hurt my feelings. And hopefully next week I will have the horizontal vertical format figured out. Um, can just real quick, can everybody hear me? If you can, please just drop it down in the comments, because we had some technical difficulties last time. I got a new mic, and hopefully it is better and you guys can hear me clearly. Oh, good. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. And so we'll give everybody just a couple of minutes to jump in. And no worries, it's all about shine or fellowship. Hey, I agree. I absolutely agree with that, Brian. Um, so a couple of the things I have planned for us. So over here, I've got in this first row, I've got 4 bourbons that are aging, and I'm going to give them a little test and see, where they are in the aging process. I don't think any of them are going to be ready. It's still just a few weeks, maybe a month on one of them. I'll look at the dates when I do the tasting, but I just want to see where they're at. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do. And then I'm going to go over episode 1. We made a mead. It was a mango mead, and we're going to check to see where it is, kind of go over the progress of that. And then behind that, I have the cherry mead that we made in last week's episode. Hey, John, good to see you. Um, and then we are going to make an apple raspberry wine out of juice concentrate from the grocery store. So a super easy wine recipe that anybody can do. And that I was planning on doing a strawberry kiwi, but when I went to go pick up the stuff for the strawberry kiwi, it was gone. So I just switched. Now we're doing apple raspberry. Um, Hello, Terry from Michigan. Awesome. We're in Arkansas here, Fort Smith. We are at the Homebrew Center, which is a homebrew supply shop. And decided we were going to do a live stream every week, every Thursday. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it turns out. The other thing we were going to do is do a Q&A. Yeah, and we were also going to do a whiskey smoker review, but I forgot to bring my glasses to do the smoker review. So that'll get put off till next week. And then we're just going to have a Q&A. So if you have any questions about how to make moonshine, about how to make wine or mead, that kind of stuff, I will answer those questions as best I can. And if you have questions about beer, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge about beer in that area, but I am learning quite a bit every day. And so before we get going, so we can give a few more folks time to jump in, does anyone have any questions right off the bat? So I'll tell you a little bit about some of the stuff we got in the background. Over here, I've got one of my copper stills. That's a 15-gallon traditional beginner still setup that is made by Adam Burgess with Copper Still Co. And if you are in the market for a copper still, he has a great sale going on right now. So if you're in the market, you can go check that out. He's at copperstillco.com/shop, and you'll be able to see all the sales. He's got several units on sale, little ones, big ones, middle-sized ones. And then over here, I have my 8-gallon Mile High distilling still, and right now it's got the 3-inch copper torpedo on it. What is the best way to use liquid malt extract in whiskey mashes? Oh, wow. That's a good question. I mean, I guess you would just be using it for the flavor and the specific gravity, but you would, I think if I was doing it and I was using it for the specific gravity, then I would want to calculate whatever liquid malt you buy. I know you can buy it in a 3.3-pound tub. See what the specific gravity is at, 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 3 gallon. And I would start there and kind of calculate my target specific gravity and use it that way. And I'd probably also use, I would probably bump it with some sugar too. But I guess all of that would also depend on if you're doing a sugar mash or if you're doing an all grain mash. You're going to get different numbers. Hey, Scott, good to see you in here again. I also want to mention is Hosh is Hosh in? Oh gosh, I forgot his first name. He was in the live stream last week. Maybe he'll jump back in and I'll see him in the chat. Using the flaked corn. Yeah, so if you're using the flaked corn, that's really easy to convert. So using flaked corn, there would be no real reason to bump the SG with sugar because the starches are easy to convert in a flaked corn. I knew you answered this, but last week, but I missed the part of the live. Do you recommend packing the column of a keg with copper? If so, what are the... So whether I pack the column or not depends on what it is I'm trying to create. So the more you pack the column, the cleaner the whiskey or brandy or whatever is going to be, and the higher the proof is going to be. So there's a balancing act, in my opinion, between proof, purity, and lightness of the alcohol versus flavor. So when you have a lower proof, you have stronger flavors, bolder flavors. Not all of them are the best. So it kind of depends on your recipe and what it is you're going after. But if you want a really clean, light whiskey with a higher proof, then that's the advantage of using the copper. The other advantage that most people use it for is to remove the sulfites from the distillate. And you will find varying opinions on this. I'm of the opinion that, at least for the liquor that I like, it doesn't matter all that much. Although lots of people use copper in their column and pack their column strictly for the purpose of stripping out the sulfites. So that's a real good question. I hope I answered it for you well. Hey, what's up, James? So anyway, I'm glad you guys came in. I think I'm going to go ahead and get started. Richard is probably going to show up at some point, and maybe he wants to jump in and be my co-host. Maybe not. That's okay. It's up to him. But I'm going to start by tasting these bourbons and checking out to see where they're at. So if you give me a second, let me just grab my stuff. Today I'm going to be making, well, the only thing I'm going to make is some wine, some apple raspberry wine, but I'm going to be doing a lot of taste testing of products that are in the process of, like this whiskey here is in the process of aging. and I just want to see where they're at. So we're going to do simple little taste tests just to see where they're at. And so I've got a little shot glass. You know, I'm not sitting down to try and drink a bunch because I got a long drive home when this is over. But so I'm probably going to do like half a shot to quarter shot just to taste to see where these whiskeys are in their process. Let me put my eyeballs on. So the first one is this. I started aging this on 9-3, so not quite a month yet. The interesting thing about this one, I'm using the Hillbilly Glass Barrel oak caps for the mason jar. So I'm really excited about this. Looks like it's been doing real well, been getting some good color. And I may even start carrying these in the brew shop because it looks like they're working really well. This is the first time I've used them, and we'll see. And also, like, these obviously have not been filtered, and they have not been cleaned or polished in any way. Hey guys, what's happening? You're just in time for all the fun. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was 6 o'clock.
Oh, that's all right. No worries. Come on, have a seat. But right now, I'm tasting. So, you want to do some tasting?
Sure.
All right. Do you need to eat first? Have you had a chance to eat?
Oh no, I just got out of the Sonic Drive.
Go ahead and eat, and then you can jump over here. Oh, you brought a little taste for yourself. Okay. So Richard has brought something that I guess we're going to taste too.
It's yours to taste.
Oh, it's mine to taste. Okay. All right.
I've tasted it.
Okay. Got you. So again, this is from 9-3-24. This is a George Washington rye that I'm aging, and I'm only using the oak cap with a medium char on it. So, and it went in the jar, if I'm not mistaken, at like 120. So I want to dilute that down because I want to taste it at about, 80 proof or 90 proof maybe. So I'm going to add a little bit of water just to drop it down and proof a little bit. Swirl that up. The color is really light in the shot glass. But like I said a while ago, I don't expect these to be ready anyway. You got a jar aging on some hillbilly barrels. Yeah, that's hillbilly glass barrels. Man, I always have a hard time with the name of that one. Don't know why. Making a stainless still. Considering having a 3 to 4 copper tubes in the mash. I'm sorry, my eyeballs are terrible, guys. I'm trying to read. Copper mesh in the column is already decided. Okay, yeah. The question is whether the tubes in the, oh man, the question disappeared on me. I can't finish it. I'm sorry about that. I can't finish that question. If you want to put it back up, it disappeared on me. I didn't get to it in time. Tornado warnings, need to watch the weather. Okay. All right. See you, Scott. Good luck with that, brother. Okay. So right away on the nose, I definitely has the rye in there. That's smelling really good. Starting to pick up the earthiness of the oak that I like. And, I'm terrible at using descriptive words to describe what it is I'm smelling. I usually just know if I like it or if I don't. That's about all I get to do. Yeah, there's some sweetness in that I didn't expect. That's pretty good.
And that's the white oak medium char?
Yes. This is the white oak hillbilly glass barrel mason jar lid on the George Washington rye. All right, let's set that aside. It's definitely not ready, but it's getting good. And now clear my palate a little bit with some water. I'm going to try something real quick. No, that didn't do it. All right, now we're going to try this one. It is also got bottled and aged at this on the same day, 9/3/24. It's also a George Washington rye, but I have the white oak, medium charred, hillbilly glass barrel oak lid, and I have a medium toasted oak stick in there from Still in the Clear. And so with that medium toasted oak stick, I was hoping to pull kind of some of the sweet, like caramel, vanilla flavors from it. Pretty much smells just like the other one. On the nose, I can't tell the difference at all. Would I recommend putting a sight glass on a Weaver? It depends on if you're making modifications that would include the like a deflagmator to recondense or reflux the vapor. Sight glass is really good for being able to see it. You could also use it with a mesh seal and use it as kind of a gin basket. So, I mean, you could certainly do it. And I'm assuming you're talking about a vapor that has, or a Weaver that has the column, like what we call the Lombardi, that has the football shaped column. Are you making the video? That's funny. Apparently, there's a shortage. Okay. Oh, okay. Thanks. I can't read your name. Ema's dad, maybe. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, this tastes about or smells the same. See if there's a difference in the taste. And that it tastes about the same either. So there's very little difference between those two. But again, only hadn't even been aging a full month yet, so didn't expect a whole lot from them. And these are, if you saw my breakfast cereal bourbon video, just to give it more height. Yeah, sight glass can certainly give you a little more height. No, you can't reduce the cost of what you fill your gas tank with this stuff. It would increase the cost. Okay, so I'm definitely going to have to get a moderator. These people. So this is a bourbon that I made out of breakfast cereal, and it went in the jar 9/13. This one has just a medium charred oak stick in it. Have a seat, brother. Get you a shot glass.
Someone says it's sour cream a sauce.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Gonna need a moderator.
Oh.
It might be a typo.
Have you ever made certain base liquor grown from your own property?
No, I don't grow the grains on my property. I just buy the grains. Yeah. So breakfast cereal bourbon, been aging only about 2 weeks on a medium charred oak stick.
Medium charred oak stick.
So everybody, this is Richard. He's also a member of the ABV Society and kind of filling in as co-host for me since Zach got called out.
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep track of some of the questions for him. That way he doesn't have to try to read as much of it at once.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right.
Not getting much of the oak on it. I'm not.
That is a completely different smell than that George Washington. Yeah.
It smells good though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a good odor to it, but it's not real strong on the oak yet. It's still oak.
Yeah, but it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's barely been aging yet. I just wanted to see.
You can notice it.
Yeah.
It's noticeable.
Yeah.
It's not strong.
Man, that one is still surprising me.
It's real flavorful.
So Hillbilly Glass Barrels, I think, has just set up his own website. So you might try hillbillyglassbarrels.com. I'm not sure what his URL is yet. You can find him on Facebook under the same name and order from him directly from Facebook and his website that I think he has operational now. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to start selling them on the Still in the Clear website also, and probably here in the Homebrew Center. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks, Dustin. He does have a website. If anybody wants to see if they can, while the live is going, find his website and share a link, that would be awesome. Yeah. So what do you think?
Well, it's the first time I've got to try this one.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to try it, before it was aged a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's very flavorful, surprisingly.
This one has surprised me
and you said
from the beginning.
Raisin brand in it. You can actually taste a little bit of that
yeah.
brand. I don't notice the raisin so much, which I didn't figure it would.
Right.
You can definitely notice the brand.
When I made this one, I was aiming for kind of like a wheated bourbon. Mm-hmm. And so I used like 65% cornflakes or 70% cornflakes, I think, and 30% raisin bran. And the raisin bran is mostly made from wheat.
And it
so
really, it is mainly wheat, but you can really notice it. You can notice that bran flavor in it. Even though it's only 30%, you can notice that flavor.
Yeah, it's really surprised me. Another thing that is surprising me with this so far is this is a sugar wash. A sugar mash. I didn't convert any of the starches and this does not have as much of a bite as a sugar wash typically does.
No, it's real smooth.
Yeah.
To me, it's smooth. I mean, that's a term used very loosely when it comes to this, but it does have definitely no burn coming down.
It's very soft.
You get a little bit of it when it hits your stomach, but you should technically at that proof.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that one, and that one is just medium charred oak is all I'm aging that one with, and then the next one I'm aging with a higher volume of liquid. Behind those other things, a higher volume of liquid to get a better surface area ratio. But I added 2 sticks, so I don't know how good that has done. But
that's on a full gallon.
Yeah, this is on 2 sticks on a full gallon, and 1 stick is a medium charred oak, and 1 stick is a medium toast. Again, trying to pull out some of the flavor, like some of the sweeter, like caramel,
marshmallow flavors
from the toast. Yeah, so that's what I was aiming for. I got you a bottle of water there if you want to clear your palate if you need to. Hey, honey. Ooh. Windsong's in the house. Mm-hmm. Baby, are you still a moderator? Let me know if you're not still a moderator on the channel, so I can have someone kicking off some of these weird comments, let me know, or I guess you can let me know later. There's nothing I can do about it now, but getting a few weird comments. Oh, they probably can't hear you that well. Flip this on. I forgot to give you your mic. Just clip it next to you.
How's that sound, guys? She's been taking care of business, sir.
Oh, okay. She jumped in there already. Okay, thank you, baby. Appreciate you. Oh, wait, that one's mine. I need to get yours.
Yep. So what was that proofed at to begin with anyways?
This one was at like 127. That's why I'm adding water, because I don't want to taste it at 127, because I'm not going to bottle it at 127. The reason it's aging at a higher proof is you get better penetration into the oak. And so when you're aging, you want to age anywhere between like 110 proof to like 130. Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting us know. No, your mic is working apparently.
Good. This one smells like it's not really aged much at all yet, but that's a lot on that little bit amount. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And too, like I'm not measuring the amount of water I'm adding. So I'm just kind of trying to get you between like 85 and 95 proof, but I'm just eyeballing it.
So I bet you're around 110.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. There's Hillbilly Glass Barrels, everybody. So those of you that were asking where you can get these oak lids from, that's the man in the chat right there. Hillbilly, if you want to drop a link to your website, go right ahead, brother. And that is really going to be good. I still don't tell much of a difference between the two. It's just too young. They've only been aging. Oh yeah, 126 proof. I wrote it on there. They've only been aging a couple of weeks.
Well, you can taste a little more. That one there, you can definitely taste a little bit more of the oak charring. Yeah. The flavor that leaves behind, the vanilla note it leaves behind. You can definitely notice it on that one more than this one to me.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, you're pretty close to right. They're not that far off. Although that one is setting on a lot more. It's going to take it a lot longer to age out anyway.
Yeah, you can tell
color-wise.
Because of the color, like
big color difference.
So this is a difference. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on the camera, but the color difference. These have been aging the same time. The biggest difference is there's a lot more volume over here, and so it's going to take longer to age. But yeah, man, that recipe is still surprising me. Just
2 cereals, some sugars, and thyme.
Yeah. Yep. Now, if anybody is wondering, the ABV Society is our club here in Arkansas. This is our first chapter. We've started it. There is, it's inside of the Homebrew Center. We've set up a bar. Members can store their stuff up here. We have a meeting once a month, a main meeting. We're going to be doing other activities, and the members can come up here and just kind of hang out and, you know, share their recipes, get advice from each other. So, and ABV stands for, well, Arkansas Brewers and Vintners Society. So anyone is welcome who is making their own beer, wine, mead, whiskey at home. Do you offer samples? Sure do. We have samples of all kinds of stuff. You just have to come here to get them. Sorry, I struggle with a tech. Okay, well, Hillbilly, what is your URL? Is it hillbillyglassbarrels.com? Because if it is, I can probably get Winsong to jump over and grab the link. She might be able to do that. Okay, okay. Maybe YouTube just won't let you. I'll see if Winsong, if you can do it, see if you can get it done. Since you're an admin, you should be able to drop a link. Running a clone of your easy bourbon kit tomorrow. Tweaked it a bit by adding an additional pound of rolled oats, upped sugars to 8 pounds. Okay. SG was 10, let's say 1092. Yeah, finished at 998. Yeah, awesome. That's a really good recipe for just an easy bourbon. Those I love using oats. Oats have a very light, kind of soft flavor to me, and so that's a really good recipe. It's just corn and oats, and it works real well. All right. Well, man, I appreciate you coming in and filling in.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I'm still technically a beginner on a lot of it, but I don't mind learning.
Yeah, that's fine. But you've done a lot of wine. So
I
Richard
have done a lot of wines.
Richard has done a lot of wine, has just kind of got into the mead. And in fact, either last week or the week before, we were tasting one of your.
That was the blueberry hibiscus.
Blueberry hibiscus, which is amazing.
And a mojito wine.
A mojito wine, that's right. And you've recently got a still, going to start getting into the distilling.
Got a small one. I'm going to do a little bit of that eventually. I'm still learning, figuring out the parts.
That's how it all works. Oh, Adam's in the house. Okay, so I was mentioning the 15-gallon traditional copper still. And I can't see. It's so terrible. Let me lean up a little bit, make sure.
Thank you, Adam.
Okay, Adam, is this the Adam from Copper Still Co? Before I go on a little Copper Still Co tear, just says Adam, and I don't know what your. Oh no, okay, wrong Adam. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize the. What do they call that little profile pic or whatever?
Profile pic.
Sorry about that, brother. Adam from
Arbuckle.
Arbuckle. Oh, awesome. So. Yeah, so you're getting into the distilling, and so that's a whole new adventure.
It's definitely a whole new adventure.
Yeah.
Like from the ground up, it's basically the fermentation part of it's all the same. Like that all basically goes almost identical, except for you don't have to be quite as sanitary as you do with wines or meads.
Right.
But I have been keeping it pretty sanitary on what I've been trying to learn how to do, just to stay in that row as I do with wines and stuff.
Yeah. And it certainly doesn't hurt anything to be extra sanitary.
No, not at all. It's definitely a plus.
Yeah.
The only thing I've really done anything on so far is a little air still. It managed to push something out, which that's what I brought, a little taste test.
Yeah.
For you to try. That's what that is a little taste test of something that I tried out on that Melter's honey that I was telling you about.
Right. All right, cool.
With the botanicals in it. It's definitely better than the first little bit you tried. That was when the one I let go way too long, basically too fast, too long.
Too many tails.
Too many tails.
Too deep into the tails.
Way too many tails. Too hot, too quick.
Okay, so Winsong says the website's not coming up, just YouTube and Facebook. Scott says he's still alive. Good to see you, brother.
John
Scott
Stone's
McNeil is one of our admins in the Moonshine for Beginners group. He's been a little bit MIA, been real busy and stuff with life. Thanks for the help last week. Clean my still and waiting on a sugar wash for the next run. Awesome, Jack. That is great. All right, so why don't we go? I will pull these up and we'll check on our batches that we've done in previous episodes. Making vodka in my bathtub. Any tips? Yes, I really only have one tip. bad baba, get a still. Yeah, get a like. Don't do it in your bathtub. Crazy. Get a fermenter. It'll be better. Uh, all right. So this was what we made in the first episode of the ABV Society Livestream. It is a mango mead. And you can go back and watch all the replays of the episodes on the channel. Just go to the lives and you can see the replays. So I just used mango twist juice from Walmart and 2 pounds of honey and some EC 1118. That's all I did. Has a original gravity of 1.130. So
That mango twist had a lot of sugar
the
in it.
mango twist had a ton of sugar. And that was on 9/12 that we started it. And then I racked it off and took an SG reading on 9/19, and it had already worked down to 1.075. And you can see a lot of sediment down in there. There was all kinds of stuff in that mango.
Yeah, there's a nice lease bed hanging out.
Yeah. So anyway, there's nothing really to do with this one yet. So just giving an update. And we'll set it back, let it continue to do its thing.
Is that the one that you guesstimated around 16%? 16, 17% if it finishes out dry?
Yeah, that'll be like 16 and a half, 17%. Let's see. Yeah, a 1.130 if it finishes to 1.000 will be 17%. And this one was even crazier. And we're going to rack this off because it's been on the fruit for about a week. So we're calling this like a primary fermentation. And I'm going to rack it off of the fruit and let it finish fermenting. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Yeah, brother. Well, thanks for the kind words. And I'm real sorry to hear that, man. So I'm going to grab my auto siphon, my bucket.
What do you need me to do?
You want to grab that empty 1 gallon jug right back there?
I got you. The one with the stainless setting in it? The one ready to go?
No, well, yeah, either one will be fine. We're going to end up using 2 of them.
This one.
And then the auto siphon.
Let's set that.
Now, when you're doing a wine or a mead, you definitely want to be very sanitary. So all of this equipment, we're racking all the liquid from this jar into this jar. I want to make sure it's sanitized. And you can't see it, but I've got a 5 gallon bucket over here.
I need to get my hands in there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Touching something here.
I've got a 5 gallon bucket over here with 2.5 to 3 gallons of water in it. And I'm going to put 15 milliliters of Star Sand in it and stir it up, and that will sanitize all the equipment. And just squirt it in and mix it up. It's real easy. And this is a no rinse sanitizer, which means like after I dip the equipment inside here, it'll be sudsy and everything. I don't have to rinse any of that off. I can go straight into doing whatever I want to do. And why is this not coming out very well? What the?
It got thick on you. The cool weather.
Yeah.
It's the cooler temperatures we're finally getting around here. Haven't seen them in so long. I wasn't sure they were going to show back up.
I guess I could just lift this up so everybody can see. So I'm just going to dip this in here. Let the water get on the inside, all around. I mean, the outside's not that important. You really only have to sanitize the part that is going to touch the wine.
And it doesn't take much or long either. It does the job fast.
And so that's it. And you see that it's all still sudsy and stuff in there. It doesn't even matter. And
you
that's
drop
it.
These airlocks down there for a second.
Yeah, that'll work. So that's it. Equipment is sanitized. Let me take this lid off. Oh, I can't get it off because my hands are wet.
I can get it in a second. Just gonna set these airlocks right here where your towel is.
The Duck Dynasty guys. Yeah, I get that in almost every live stream. That's funny.
He's the Duck Dynasty guy? Is that what he's
I
saying?
get called the Psy from Duck Dynasty.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, so I'm going to set this in as gently as I can because there's leaves on the bottom, and I want to avoid stirring them up if I can. So, and then all I got to do is just pump this a few times to get it going, and gravity takes over. And so I'm transferring my must over, and I'm going to leave the fruit because I want it to finish fermenting without the fruit. And just going to let it fill up. Richard has already sanitized the airlock for me. And just go ahead and get a
little bit in there.
Sanitizer water in there. Oh, and I'm already shaking this. It's a secondary fermentation, so I don't have to be real critical with all of this stuff.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this one is going to be close to 18% because the starting if it finishes all the way out, because the starting gravity on this one was like 1.142. Yeah, cherry. It's a really simple, easy Viking blood.
Actually,
Although there's no hibiscus that people typically put in Viking blood, but it's just pie filling, cherry pie filling. 2 pounds, 1 can of cherry pie filling, 2 pounds of honey, and some EC 1118.
It actually sounds pretty good to me too. I read about that one.
I like the hibiscus flavor.
It has a great flavor, yeah. Okay, so there's that one. And I'm going to make my note of what I did, hang it on there so I can keep track of everything that's been done. What is the date today? 29? 26. Okay. Okay, racked to secondary. And I want to take a gravity reading also.
Where's your little...
In the bucket behind the bar, I think my test jar is. So I'm not quite finished. I would like to see what the gravity is, how fast it has worked off since it's been fermenting.
Mm-hmm.
And then next week we'll be running the still. I've got a corn liquor that is almost done, and we'll be running the still.
Where's your...
There's towels, paper towels under the dry ingredients.
Yep, gotcha.
So I sanitized my test jar. I sanitized my hydrometer. And at this stage, this isn't even critical to take a gravity reading right now. I just want to see. I'm just curious.
It's curiosity, yep. With the high, as high as that is, I don't know. It may surprise you. Still got a little ways to go.
Get out of the way. So down to 1.040.
You said it's only been like a little over a week, right? 2 weeks, 10 days.
The 19th.
Yeah.
So a week. Yeah, we did this in the last episode.
That's
so
not
last
too
week,
bad for that high of a.
7 days from 1.142. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
100 gravity points.
Most normal meads or wines would have been done.
All right, so that's still got some time to go. So I'll set it back. Maybe check it again next week in the next episode.
It'll probably be done.
Oh. The bucket out of the way. We don't need this. We'll still need the hydrometer. Who needs gravity reading when you have taste buds? Well, I mean, that is one way to look at it for sure. And if you trust your taste buds, that works fine. I know, it can be almost done and I can think it doesn't taste sweet. So,
One gentleman says, don't pour it back in there.
Well, I sanitized everything, so I can pour it back in because I sanitized the test jar and the hydrometer before I took the reading. But I do understand your concept, so I'm not going to need this anymore. Now, let's make the apple raspberry wine out of juice concentrates. Now, I don't know what the gravity is of these. I got 4 of them, and I don't know how many to use. This is the first time I've tried this. I like to, in these lives, I want to just give you guys very simple ways to make some alcohol at home, whether we're going to be doing wine or mead or whiskey or beer or whatever.
Do you mind if I read one of these?
Yeah, go ahead, jump on it. I'll start sanitizing the jug.
Total sugars 29 grams for 2 fluid ounces. It's roughly 120 grams of sugar per container.
And that's 12 ounces. There's probably a way to do that math and know what the gravity is.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what it is.
I would say 3 cans at least.
Yeah, at least 3 cans. Here's my goal on this one. I want to get it up to 1.130, and I'm going to use 71B, which only has an alcohol tolerance of 14%. Mm-hmm. So I'll still have sweetness when the yeast has reached its tolerance.
So 71B will surprise you, though. I've seen them
That's
go
the
16.
problem. Yeah, that's the problem with using your yeast tolerance to create sweetness, because it might say the yeast tolerance is 14, but like you said, it can go to 16.
If you use
it might even stop at 13.
It may stop early. Yeah.
So that's a tricky part of making a sweet wine that way. But I'm going to try it with this one. So we're going to see. I need, again, sanitizing all the equipment, anything that's going to touch our must. You're a master brewer, and there's that. Well, so there's that. That's awesome. All right. I'm going to take a gravity reading of this stuff.
Will it work in a Home Depot bucket? I think if it's HDPE certified, it should work in that bucket.
I mean,
as long as sanitize it real well, but it should work just fine as long as it's HDPE certified.
Don't stick your hose down too far and push down on the lid because you'll suck all the sanitary back into it.
Don't create negative pressure with your airlock.
Yeah.
Bubblehead watched Great Pawpaw from doing it cheap. That's how he started his winemaking career, was by watching Great Pawpaw.
That's awesome.
High octane wine. Nice. Usually from using red grapes.
It pegged it out.
Oh, did it?
So I guess it's 1.1. What would you guess? 1.175?
There's no, you're gonna have a lot of sugars in that, but
see how it's pegged out?
Oh, it's definitely all the way up. Yeah, I bet you're right. If you go 1.17, probably more like 1.18.
Yeah, so it's way up there. That's like 19%.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
So you're gonna be added to waters, maybe 2.
No, that's like 20. 22%.
Yeah, 22%.
So I could probably use an EC11. Well, no, because I'm going to be adding water. Never mind.
The water's going to cut it down
Yeah.
quite a bit.
So I'll probably use 4 and water. And then we'll see what the gravity is.
It's going to be high.
It's going to be high.
You might actually need another container on that one.
That's a lot of juice and a lot of sugar.
Correct.
So you might be able to use that EC.
1118.
Oh man, I just tore the tab.
I think he wants to try to keep some residual sugars. I think that's the purpose behind the 71B.
Yeah.
To max out what he can get percentage-wise out of it, but then keep some residuals where you don't have to add sugars after.
So the yeast that I use, so when you're talking about whiskeys, when I'm using grains, I like to use just a good old daddy yeast. When I'm using fruit, my go-to is the EC1118. And if I'm doing like a mountain brandy where I've got grains and fruit, I'll actually mix both of those.
I use 71B in a lot of meads because it works really well for them.
Yeah.
And B47 works really well for them as well.
Ooh, man, this smells good. Can you smell it from where you are?
Yes, I can.
This smells really good.
It smells delicious. Get the water in there. Might have to just get a little bitty taste of what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Before it starts to turn. So that's all 4.
You go grab that trash bucket that's behind the bar.
And you're
There's
at
just
that
a
level.
5-gallon bucket back there. All right, and so I'm going to add spring water to it, which is the water I use when I'm doing a wine or a mead.
Yeah, I'm just going to come around and get those out of your way.
Yes, this is a lot of fun. The entire journey is just a lot of fun. And I'm not going to fill all this up because I know from past experience using concentrates, you get a lot of foam.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be,
You talking about the Viking's blood?
I think that's
Yeah.
going to be lower than 113. All right. And my cap.
This gentleman, Eric Fields, is asking about interest in trying to do a sour mash. Do I have to use malted corn when starting each generation, and wondering why I can't find malted corn?
So, yeah, malted corn is something you just do yourself. If you want to malt the corn, first of all, you don't have to use malted corn. There are sour mash recipes that call for malted corn. It's not like a requirement for a sour mash. But if you want, like, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about how to malt corn, and you just do it yourself. I've never seen it for sale, although that doesn't mean you can't get it.
And the gentleman is asking, what are you making?
Right now, I am making a wine. This is apple raspberry wine. See if I can do this without spilling it. Nope.
It happens.
Is it apple or I thought it was
And I'm taking a gravity reading just because I want to see. I think I went too low, to be honest with you. Oh, yeah, I'm too low. 1060. So that means my target is 1.130. I'm at 1.060, which means if I want to continue my plan,
You're going to have to add sugar.
I've got to add sugar. Yeah. And so that's what we're going to do. And so knowing that 1 cup of sugar equals 2 bricks.
It's 2 bricks, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So
if you go by bricks, or I think it's 0.45, I believe.
What did I say the starting gravity was? 60? 1060? So I'm at 15 bricks. I've got to get to 30 bricks. That can't be right.
No, that's
15
not right.
bricks divided by 2, 7 cups of sugar? Surely not.
No, that wouldn't be right. Probably about 4 cups of sugar would be my guess.
So I'm
That
gonna go grab the sugar real quick.
4 cups is 2 pounds. A pound of sugar, I believe, is 0.045. My math may be off on that, but I think it's 0.045.
I mean, or we could just do it like his grandpappy probably did it, his grandpapa,
Yeah.
and just start pouring sugar.
Add sugar, shake her up real good, get it mixed
Right.
up well, check
Right.
it, see what happens. How much is in that?
I don't know.
Probably a little under 2 pounds, probably. I can't tell.
Well, it wasn't full. There's no
Here, let me see.
weight on that anywhere.
There it is. It was 3 pounds when it was full. So you could probably add a little more to it. Let's see if you got a.
Can't you just boil off some water? I'm not sure what you mean.
Kind of like we're doing inverted sugar in a way. Heat the
Either
sugar up
that
in some water.
Or maybe the sanitization.
Oh, yeah.
If you're talking about the sanitization, yeah, you could certainly boil water, but that's just a lot. I mean, it takes energy to heat that water up, get it boiling. You've got to have a pot big enough. I just find that the Star San in a 5-gallon bucket is the easiest. Now, if you weren't talking about sanitization with that boiling water comment, you'll have to let me know, because that's just what I'm assuming. No, right now I'm not making moonshine. Right now we're making a wine, apple raspberry wine.
Here you go. I'll do that while you get your questions.
Okay. So we're going to dissolve that sugar, and then I'll check it again, see what the gravity is. Brian D, what they don't know ain't none of their dang business. You do, and don't spread the word too far. That's awesome.
Let a little bit of that pressure off so
Yeah.
don't get an explosion.
Man, I had like a half-gallon jug of, I don't even know what was in it, but it was half full. So it was a half-gallon jug, and it was half full, and it was in that old freezer that quit working.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I cleaned that thing out and set it out on the porch, and I couldn't even hardly open it. And when I did, it was like an explosion.
It vapor locked.
Oh my God. It blew off of there, and there was just like smoke on the inside. It was crazy. There's still a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah, there is. I'll just let some of the pressure off.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the temperature should be pretty close to right after all this shaking up.
Yeah.
I'm getting a workout.
Right. Okay, we'll need that sanitizer still. We're not going to need this. We'll need that. Maybe. Well, maybe.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole lot of sugar left in there.
Oh, I didn't taste that juice. Oh, yeah, that's real good. Oh, very raspberry.
Does it have a lot of raspberry?
Yeah. It's a very,
It's
it's got that tart.
Said strawberry
Oh.
raspberry.
Back end's definitely, yeah.
The what?
Strawberry raspberry. I think that's what you said that juice was.
No, it's apple raspberry. Originally, I was going to do strawberry kiwi, but when I went to buy the stuff for the live yesterday, they were out. So I just changed it. I mean, yeah. I could go through and boil it down and raise the gravity, but I don't want to do all that. This is supposed to be an easy recipe. It's the first time I've ever done it. I didn't know what I was going to get. And so, for like, say the next time I can keep recreating this recipe, and I can Do 5 jugs instead of 4 next time and see what I get. Yeah, right. You do lose volume. Was referring to like in beer making. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you, Christy. You're right. I could certainly boil it off
Until
to
it
raise
hits
the gravity. I just don't want to do that. That's not simple enough for what I'm trying to do for beginners to show them how to make some wine. And so just adding sugar. And then next time I try it, I mean, if I like the flavor of it, then I'll try it again. But next time I'll add more syrup, more concentrate, and get it to where I want it. Or, maybe next time I don't try and shoot for such a high gravity, and I just use a yeast that will consume all of the sugar and then back sweeten. This is just what the process is when you're just kind of winging it with a new recipe. You just kind of figure it out as you go, make adjustments each time.
This yeast is gonna love all that oxidization going on.
Yeah, that's a pretty common way to make some wine in prison. Just like a sourdough bread and some juice. Hide the packet in a warm spot and see what you get. I should do a prison brew. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd make a video about a prison brew. Now I've never been to prison, but I can assume how it's made. I prefer fermenting on the grain. I feel like I get more flavor out of the grain, letting it sit during that fermentation. Good to see you, John. Thank you for showing up.
I think we're
What do
about
you
there.
think?
I think it's about there. You might check it and see for yourself, but there's still some sugar moving though.
Yeah. So we're just trying to get this sugar dissolved so that we can get a good reading. And
It's getting close.
it's getting close. We'll get there. Made prison wine. It was definitely alcohol. Yeah, for sure. Prison hooch sucks. Well, I mean, what are your options in prison, right? I mean, I've drank Coors Light before. You know what I'm saying? When you don't have it, when you don't have what you like. Man, we're getting a lot of comments on the prison hooch. Maybe I should definitely do an episode on prison hooch.
Christy asked if you ever distill on the grain. Is there an easy way to do this without scorching?
So I do not distill on the grain because I don't have a jacketed still, which is what's required to distill. I don't know all the ways you could distill on the grain. I just don't have the equipment to do it. So I've never done it. This is wine. This is not mead. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a sample and just see where we're at.
I bet it's guessing 1.1, 110.
1.1, 110. All right, let's.
I'm gonna say 120, 160.
Wow.
That's a lot of sugar.
It was only about a pound and a half. It had a ways to go. Still got a ways to go.
Nailed it, Bubba. 1.1.
I figured it was close. So there's still some loose sugar hanging out down there. So it's going to get a little more.
Be a little bit more, yeah.
All depends on if you want to add more sugar to it. You said you're trying to get to 1.13?
Yeah, but mainly just because I wanted to use the 71B.
All the way to the end?
Yeah. So maybe I'll just stop it where I am and then back sweeten later.
You could.
Because I definitely want to make this a sweet wine because of the
you'd have
raspberry.
to probably add another half pound or better to get it close. Because a half pound is going to give you about 0.022 more gravity. So it'll get you about 1.12 probably. That's a guess, though.
Right. I think I'm just going to leave it. 1.1. We're going to call it. It's probably a little higher, like you
It's
said.
going to be a
it's
good
not
12,
completely
13% either way.
right.
Or you could always backfeed it.
Yeah, that's true. Just invert some sugar.
Mm-hmm. Give it about a week and then backfeed it. Add a little bit more sugar to it.
All right, see you later, Jack. Winsong says no. I might have missed whatever that was about. Okay, so time for our dry ingredients. In this case, I don't know if I want to use my 71B. Yeah, it'll get to that. It'll get to 1.1, won't it?
Yeah.
Because that's only like 12%.
It'll easily
13.
get there.
Yeah.
It should, anyways. Are you going to add any nutrients to this one, or you just do straight up?
No, I'm going to add the nutrients also. So I'm using a Lavlin 71B yeast. And I'm just eyeballing half the packet.
From what I can see, someone asked if that was mead, and I think that's where she said no.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Breaking Bad.
No, not Breaking Bad. Totally different
malted,
chemical background.
Brian, malted rye is like spicy, peppery kind of.
Barley's earthy.
Yeah, and barley's much softer than rye and earthy. Yeah, I think you're right, John. That's probably how to make prison malt. Good question. I guess we could probably figure that out.
I know I have no idea how to do that.
No, because you have to have a malt, don't you, to get a...
We have to have a way to wet some sort of grain to turn it, to make it into a malt.
So I'm adding some pectic enzyme, which may not be necessary with concentrated juice.
Never hurts though.
But it ain't gonna hurt nothing. So pectic enzymes are for breaking down the pectin in fruit, opens up the cell walls, helps clarify things better.
And also grabs any of the residual sugars that might not have been there.
Correct, yeah. And I'm also gonna add a yeast nutrient, which probably not terribly necessary on this either, but I'm going to do it anyway just to make sure, because I don't want to fight it later. And just it's easy to do it right now. And the way I do it, people do things differently. Some people will make a starter, mix all that up with water. I just make sure I get all my dry ingredients wet, and that's how I do it. Makes sense, poaching from spuds.
Making some poaching from some spuds.
Yeah.
99%. Huh. Poaching, which is Scottish, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome, man. Yeah, we're going to be doing it every week, Brian. And that's it. Now we're going to let this one sit.
Poaching was illegal forever over in Scotland and the Britain areas for a long time, until like a couple years back, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ireland. That's
Yeah.
where they made it.
Yep. Scotland and Ireland.
All right, there we go. And that was 1.1, right? Probably a little higher, but.
Apparently we're beating Scott to the punch. He's been trying to answer some of the questions, but apparently we've been beating him a little bit. Well, that's a good thing, Scott.
Well, Scott, I'll let you jump in there and answer them. That's fine, brother. Okay, I'm just going to drop all this stuff in here. Take care of that later.
His fingers ain't fast enough. You answer quicker than he can.
Yeah.
Someone told Run that it's a good 5 weeks for a good homemade wine. It can be, depending on the wine.
Yeah, I think that completely depends on the recipe. And 5 weeks is about the minimum, I would say.
And then sometimes it's a year and a half.
And it depends on what you're using. Are you using clarifying agents? Are you letting
Yeah.
time do the clarifying? Like you can make a wine in 5 weeks, no doubt about it. But patience will always make a wine better. I shouldn't say that, not always. Mostly, patience will make a wine better.
Yeah, we usually want to get fruit.
You need to get some extra fruit for the
My secret ingredients is
biscuits.
not chili powder. I have no secret ingredients. I tell everybody what I'm doing.
But they say tomato paste works for anything.
Yeah, they do say that, don't they?
Yes, they do. It's apparently a good nutrients for anything. If y'all see me stepping off, it's because I vape and I don't really want to do it on this live.
Okay.
I don't know if it offends anyone or not.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll get your live shut down or not, but I was vaping last week at the end.
I just step off away from it a little bit. Well, towards the end, y'all are feeling pretty happy.
Yeah. I got probably a little too saucy considering the drive to get home, but it wasn't too bad.
I didn't think of that part of it. You did have quite the drive to go.
Right. For hillbillies. Yeah, that's me. People vape on lives all the time.
Well, that's good to know.
Okay, so now we can do, I know I've been answering questions the whole time, but now we can do like a Q&A section, and we'll answer some questions for a little bit. I also want to thank Mr. Hosh. Last week, he gave us a $20 super chat right at the end, and I had already ended the live when he did it, so I didn't get to say thank you. So I want to say thank you now. I haven't seen him in the live. I was going to wait and see if he was in the live to say thanks, but and tell him that I took that $20 and added it to the pot, and it helped us buy a new fridge for the ABV Society. So, well, I say new. It's a used fridge, but it's new for us, so we can store things in it. So thank you, Mr. Hosh. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Jonas, are you saying you're from Bavaria?
I like your style. I can't read. Service from Bavaria. You're in Bavaria, Jonas? Is that what you're saying? That's awesome. I use a lot of Bavarian wheat, my friend. All right. Well, I want to try this. So what did you say this was?
That's the Melter's honey.
Oh, that's right.
That went to about 16%. And then I did add, and I did add the tails that was not up to par
in that run.
And to that run.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we got.
So you can still taste a little of the tails, but that's at 102 is what that is.
Is there peppermint in this?
No, it's not peppermint. There's cardamom. There's ginger. I'm trying to remember now.
That's pretty good. That's a lot better than the other one.
I think you put coriander in it too.
Coriander. That's
what I'm
tasting
in there as well.
And did you do it like as a gin basket?
Well, no, actually, I did everything in the fermentation, and then I added all the botanicals in the secondary and just let them sit. Yeah, and the primary, and we actually let them sit too long.
They came through real well.
They did indeed. But as a mead, it was very overpowering in the botanicals. Yeah, I will say that.
Yeah, because that came through in the distillation, which usually the flavors that come through in the distillation are much more subtle than that.
Mm-hmm. I kept the recipe. I wrote it all down, so it's something
what's the
recreate.
Proof? What's the proof of that?
That is 102.
102, and your primary sugar was the honey.
Honey, yeah.
That's pretty good.
It was Melter's honey, which is, if anybody doesn't know what Melter's honey actually is, it's basically the end of the comb. It's where it's heated up to about 125, 130 degrees, and then they spin all the extra honey out of it when it gets real fine. And that's what they make Melter's honey out of. So it's pretty close to what a boucher. It's close to what a boucher is.
Yeah. That's one of the videos I want to make coming up pretty soon. Is a bochet for the Homebrew Center channel.
Oh, that'd be a good one too.
Yeah.
That's getting it up to about 130 and letting it sit there a little bit. You're basically cooking honey at that point.
Yeah.
But it does have a unique caramel flavor to it when you do that.
Right.
A lot like molasses.
And dark.
Very
About as
dark.
as that jug is that you just made.
As clear as that is, it was super dark when I put it in there.
Oh yeah, the Krispy Kreme donut mash. I have not tried that one either.
I seen that one though. That was interesting. Someone has a YouTube video of that, I think. I could be wrong though.
So I'm putting together the information now about that ruling in Texas, which I assume is what you're talking about, Barefoot. What I think it so it's just an injunction. The ruling was just an injunction, so it didn't set anything in stone. The federal government still has an opportunity to appeal, so we're a long way from the process. But what I was talking to Zach, who knows a bunch about the law, is attorney, has worked for attorneys, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, what that does is set a precedent that in the Texas district, nobody's going to get prosecuted for that because there's a precedent that's been set, and prosecutors know that if they take that kind of charge to court, they're more than likely going to lose. So whether it's illegal or not, it certainly means that at the very least in the Texas district, which includes not just Texas, but nobody's going to get prosecuted for it. And it likely means that the adjoining districts, like my district, I'm in Arkansas, nobody's going to get prosecuted for it either, because the precedent has been set and the prosecutors know that if they take that kind of a case to court, it's likely that they're going to lose, and they don't like taking cases to court that they think they might lose.
I just feel like it's a move in the right direction.
It's absolutely a move in the right direction. And I think that within the next decade, we're going to see a lot of that change because of that ruling.
Lenience, yeah.
And, that's the first time that someone has sued the federal government about home distilling prohibition and won. So it's pretty huge. Good question. So anyway, we don't have anything else. We've done everything I was going to do in this live. So I'm probably gonna call this live. And remember, every Thursday, 5 o'clock, we're going to do a live stream. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I might be distilling. Sometimes I might be making a mash. I'll probably always either be making a wine or a mead, because those are really easy to do. We're always going to be, doing Q&A. And I don't know what all the live stream will turn into, but we'll just see. We'll just see what you guys like, and I'll try and do more of it. Sounds like you guys might like to see some prison hooch, so we might do some of that. And anyway, I really appreciate you guys showing up for it, and I will see you next time.